If you haven't already, transition or send your focus into your optimal breathing, directing your inhale into the back bottom ribs, the most muscular part of the diaphragm. As you inflate the low back ribs, feel them start to open off the low back. Relax your low belly out. Exhale, draw low belly in. Inhale, ventilate back bottom ribs. Relax low abdominals. Exhale, hug supple low abdominals back in. Continue to breathe like that, feeling for the breath. Starting to ventilate right around the kidneys, back bottom lungs, and releasing the low belly pelvic floor. Without tensing up on the exhale, you'll engage the low abdominals to move breath out. We'll take a few rounds of Mula Bandh. Breathe in as before. Fill out back bottom ribs. Relax your low belly. Hold the breath. Hug the low belly in and lift the pelvic floor off the ground. Then relax that completely. Exhale. Again, inhale, ventilate back bottom ribs. Relax your pelvic floor. Hold the breath. Scoop the pelvic floor up, right between your anus and genitals, including your anus and genitals. And scoop your low belly off pelvis. Then release that so you can breathe out. Keep it released, keep it released, keep it released. Breathe in, continue to soften low belly, pelvic floor. Hold the breath, engage your Mula Bandha, your root lock. And then relax that so you can breathe out. Take 3 more breaths like that. Let's come to all fours. A couple of rounds of our deconstructed cat-cows. We'll start with the pelvic tilts first. You can be on hands and knees, or you can lower down onto your elbows and knees. And wherever you are, neutralize the spine. Inhale, lift your upper back up between your shoulder blades, just enough that you're not collapsing, but also not humping. Your neck can relax. You can even hang head if that feels right to you. Point pubic bone, tailbone straight back. There's a little dip in the top edge of the sacrum, the top of the pelvis. So you have a natural curve in low back. We'll start there. Inhale, down into the sacrum. Press the top edge of sacrum to sky. Disappear your lumbar curve. Exhale, top rim sacrum towards earth. Exaggerating the lumbar curve, maybe. Inhale, top rim sacrum sky. Exhale, top rim sacrum earth. Feel for keeping the shoulders, head, neck steady. If possible, not even moving the lowest ribs up and down. They will open and close with your breath. Just isolating what might be a super tiny pelvic movement as you run breath into the lowest parts of the spine, the sacrum and hips. And come back to neutral, tailbone, pubic bones straight back. Top rim, sacrum in without blowing the bottom ribs out. So feel for a connection between the lowest rib and hip bone, a core connection without a tightening. Moving up to the upper spine, you can stay down on your elbows, or if you're okay with being up on hands, that might give you a little more room. Inhale, upper back to the sky. Exhale, chest towards earth. Arms stay straight-ish as you sink your heart down and keep the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the upper back between your shoulder blades. Shoulder blades disappear. Exhale, sinking heart. Shoulder blades melt into your upper back. Up and down like that a few times with a relaxed neck. Here the low ribs are steady and everything below that. Pelvis and low spine. Trying not to respond as you direct the breath into the shoulders, the upper spine, and feel for freedom of movement between these bones. And finish up. And come on to your back. Let's do elbow to knee with thigh traction. Maybe Broga. So watch for a moment. I don't think we've done Broga in a while, and this might be brand new to Vicky. So the elbow to knee variation, head and shoulders will stay up the floor the whole time. I'll cue you to inhale, low back into mat, no natural curve in lumbar spine. Exhale, twist your elbows to one thigh. I'm twisting to my left, right leg reaches out, belly down. Left knee will stay, or the knees stay over the hips the whole time. They will not come towards you. So that's the foundation for what we're doing. When we move into the thigh traction, exhale, twist left, right leg to sky. And don't worry, I'll talk you through it nice and slow. Right hand, if you're okay with releasing your neck, will come take hold of the right hip or the right thigh real close to the hip. Breathe into hip. And on exhale, feel for spiraling your thigh bone from your hip joint, not in a way that jerks it up, but almost as if you're making space between the bone and the joint. Pull your belly down against that. We'll do a couple of those. And then finally, Brauga, starting the same way. Twist to the left, right leg straight. This time, right hand will reach for left foot. Put your foot on your right inner thigh. You might be able to get it to stick, but you might not. You might have to hold it there. And just like you were tractioning with your hand, you'll use your foot to traction the thigh bone up, pull your belly down. A little bit like an upside down tree. A Brauga is kind of like a stork. It's a water bird. All right. So turn your breath on if you weren't breathing while you watched. Come into a position like you're in a chair. Knees bent directly over pelvis, and you'll keep that distance, knees directly over pelvis for the whole series. Hands interlocked at the base of the skull. So fully support your head and your hands for this, not just with your fingertips, but actually cup your skull, elbows to the sky so neck can relax completely. Inhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat. Press your low back flat. Exhale, elbows to your left thigh, right leg to sky. Pull your belly down. Inhale, center. Bend both knees, lift shoulders, tuck the tail. Exhale, twist right, left leg up. Draw navel to spine. Again, like that. Inhale, center. Flatten low back down, lift shoulders. Exhale, twist left, right leg to sky. It's a little twist, both elbows reaching for left thigh, so maybe both shoulders stay off mat. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right, left leg sky. Pull your belly down, maybe both shoulders are off the earth, but please don't strain your neck. Adding thigh traction. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left, right leg sky. Right hand takes hold of some meat on the top of your right thigh. direct your inhale breath into the right hip socket. You can imagine filling it with fluid because that's literally what you're doing. Exhale, massage the right thigh up from the socket. Pull your belly down. If your hip's cramping, Cynthia, be careful of the internal rotation. Keep it nice and smooth. More effort with hand than leg. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Left leg up. Again. Take hold of the meat on the left thigh. You can tenderize it a little with hand. Feel into it. Breathe into left hip. And exhale, traction. Like you're starting to move cold taffy from your hip. You want to stretch it nice and slow. Again, like that. Do it on your own breath so you can breathe nice and slow and feel. And do one more full round like that. And then we'll move into Braga. When you're ready for Braga, we'll meet with knees bent in our chair. Head and shoulders off the earth. Breathe down into low back. Exhale, elbows to the left. Right leg to the sky. This time, right hand reaches for the left ankle. And place your left foot on your right inner thigh. If that hurts your knee, of course, you can put it above the knee onto your calf. You won't get as much traction. If you can get it to stick, cool. Otherwise, hold it in place. Take a breath into the right hip. Actually, breathe into the whole pelvic bowl. Exhale, curl your tailbone up. Traction your right thigh up with your left foot. Foot into leg, leg into foot. Pull your belly down. One more side. Inhale, center. Press low back flat, lift shoulders. Exhale, twist right, send left leg up. Left hand reaches for right ankle. Place the bottom of the right foot on the left inner thigh or somewhere on the left inner leg. Just be careful of knee joint. Send breath into your pelvis. Relax your low belly. Exhale, pull low belly in as you traction left thigh up. Curl shoulders up, pull belly down. Inhale, center. Feet down. Let's do a round of Uddiyana right here. Press your palms into your thighs. Send a breath into your belly. Flare your ribs, lift your chest. Blow the breath out so you're empty. Hold the breath out, tuck your chin down, pull your belly down, and then feel for flying your supple abdominals up into your rib cage. Ribs flare while you're holding your breath out. When you have to breathe, relax your belly and do one more Uddiyana. Bridge. Feet on the floor, approximately hips width apart with the toes pointing straight ahead. So if you're working with knee issues or low back issues, if you're working with knee issues, you might want your feet wider or further away. Low back issues, the feet might want to be closer towards each other, not necessarily to the hips. All right, press your feet down, press hips straight up to sky. So those hip flexors that we're just flexing to traction the thigh bone out, to curl the head and shoulders up. We're now opening those out. So feeling for flattening your hips to the ceiling, lengthening tops of thighs forward. All the effort is in pressing feet into mat. But if it's pinching real tight, see if you can soften that. And you'll notice maybe your jaw unlocks when you relax your buttocks. And then press your feet down to drive hips up. Slowly lower your hips back down. Separate your feet at least as wide as your mat. Open your arms to a T and take a little windshield wipe action, flushing your knees from side to side. Head might also turn. Maybe nose turns the opposite side of the knees. But there's no wrong way to do that. Apanasana. Come back to center. Draw right knee into chest. Straighten left leg out on your mat. Flex both feet. Feel for pointing pinky toes to the sky, reaching through your heels and working left hamstrings down. Send your breath into right hip. Exhale, soften right hip as you hug right knee in. Without letting the left thigh leave the earth, untuck your tail. And be curious here, Cynthia, if you feel overstretched through the connective tissue through the front of the left hip, well then soften. Don't worry about pushing your thigh bone down. Just let your leg be in a natural shape so you can run breath through those tissues. Change sides. You can also experiment with flexing pointing feet and noticing how that changes sensations in hip and low back. So if you have a habitual foot position, maybe let that go right now. All right, hug both knees into chest. And then find your way to all fours for mega plank. Come down onto your elbows, wrap your hands around your upper arms so you can measure elbow width. Ideally, to keep our shoulder joints healthy, we set the elbows up right under shoulders. If you already are working with shoulder tweakiness, disobey me, listen to your own body. Put your palms down directly in front of your elbows. Unless shoulders are tweaky, then clasp your hands. Press the earth away to lift out of shoulders. Pull the lowest ribs up into the waist to the sky. And for some of us, this is planking enough. Maybe today, feel into breathing into the back body. Exhale, scoop front body up. Or you can walk back into any other variation of plank, legs straight. Or walk the feet back, then set your knees down, tuck your tail. Roll the head of the shoulder back, but press the earth away. Lift the upper back, almost like when we're doing those cat-cows for the upper spine, the lift of the upper back through. If your knees are off the mat, optional Achilles stretch. Hook your big toe around your Achilles tendon, either foot. Right toes might hook the left tendon and draw your heel back gently. Pull your mat forward to pull your heart in the other direction. Other side. And set your knees down. Sit up on your knees for bird's wing. If kneeling's not okay, then you can take another position. You can sit or you can stand. Tall spine, breathe the back ribs out. Palms up, elbows hug into the front of your ribs, hands as low as your elbows, maybe even a little lower so you can feel the rotation at the top of the arm bone. Bring pinky fingers into touch. Breathe into the upper back. Exhale, rotate the hands away from each other with a sense of resistance, like you're pulling on a stretchy band and squeezing the elbows in. So the hands can only go so far before the elbows will leave. Don't go that far. Again, inhale, broaden the upper back, rotate the hands in. Exhale, rotate the hands out and feel for hugging the upper arm bones close to your armpits, to your shoulder blades behind your armpits. So you feel those little muscles firing. Let's take one more breath into those. Inhale, hands in. Breathe out, back ribs. Exhale, rotate. And relax your arms. Let's do some half suns. Come on up to standing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. You can swan dive or you can tuck your chin, bend your knees, and roll down nice and slow. Inhale, half lift. Shoulders back, tail back. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale to your heart. Again, inhale, back, bottom ribs out as the arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Pull low belly in. Inhale to back bottom ribs as you stretch your spine forward. Your hands might come all the way up to thighs to help you lengthen. Exhale, fold. Pull low belly in. Inhale to back bottom ribs as you rise. Exhale, Samastitihi. Again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Samastitihi. Calf lengthening. All right, find your blanket or towel that you're going to roll up. If it's a traditional yoga blanket, you can take it how it's usually folded in the stack or unfold it one more time for a firmer roll. And then you roll it up into a tube so it looks like a rolled up yoga mat. You could also use your yoga mat. So 4 to 6 inches in diameter. I think when they sell those half cylinders, they're even smaller than that. So you don't need a lot of height. We'll start with right foot on the roll. The whole bottom of the foot, except for the heel, will stay on the earth. Left foot will set up next to it. You might want to sit up next to a wall if you don't want to think about balancing. And then we'll line our hips up. Make sure right and left hip feel the same height. And then start to invite your hips back. We're aiming for an alignment where your greater trochanter, your outer hip bone, lines up over your outer ankle, which for most of our yogis feels like leaning forward, sticking our butts out. Leaning forward so we don't fall on our butts. And then breathe your back bottom ribs out so you can bring your torso back over your sacrum. Ramp the chin back so your head is back on top. And the way I was originally taught this, if you were looking in a mirror, you put your hand on your sternum, your hand would be perpendicular to the earth. So I did not like this at first. It felt very un-yogic. But relax the tissues through the backs of the leg, especially in your lengthening right calf. But maybe you'll feel that lengthening, that release all the way up into your pelvic floor and low back. Continue to run your breath to wherever you're feeling this. If you want a deeper stretch, then you step left foot forward. If you feel like you're straining to stay on your roll, well, you can make your roll smaller or step the left foot back. Just bring your balanced pelvis with you. So another way to think about the balanced pelvis, some teachers cue it as the front of your pelvis, the hip bones to pubic bone is vertical to the earth. Some say the ASIS is horizontal PSIS. That means like the stripe on your yoga pants would be parallel to the earth. But then relax the tissues of the pelvis wherever you're floating it. Breathe the back ribs out if they're starting to collapse. Soften the chin back. No need to roll the shoulders back for this one. That'll throw you out of alignment. And step off your roll. We'll do the process on side number 2. Left foot's on the roll. Adjust your roll so at least you can start into Tadasana, so you can feel for balancing your pelvis. Once you get your hip bones to line up over your ankle, so move back onto your heels, that should bring either front of pelvis vertical or yoga stripe, pants horizontal. If that sticks your butt out, leans you forward, that's fine. Start to breathe the lowest ribs back. Ramp your chin back to bring your head on top of it all. Arms relaxed. Adjust the right foot forward or back to modulate the stretch in your left leg. And as you run breath into the lengthening left calf muscle, notice what else can release. Maybe the whole back of the leg line starts to unravel. As you breathe the back ribs out, making space in low back, maybe these muscles right on top of your hips start to lose their grip. All right, come off your roll. Let's do our psoas swing, swinging psoas. Take your 2 blocks or whatever you're stepping on, or if you're not, don't have something to step on, you'll watch and then go to an actual step somewhere and go to a wall. We'll swing out the left leg first. So stand on the blocks. If you're next to the wall, you're about, we usually measure a forearm's distance away is usually optimal to keep your balance and your alignment. Right foot on your blocks, on your step. And if you can feel for that fussy alignment, inviting your hips back. So your outer hip is over your outer ankle and breathe your back ribs back. You do that. Put your hand on your hip or maybe across your hips so you can feel them balanced and start to let the left leg swing with gravity. Nice and easy, effortless. Not so much motion in the hip, but the leg starts to feel like it's falling out of the hip. I've actually seen injuries of that nature, so that's what comes to mind. We're not trying to actually dislocate the hip. Just feel for the hard taffy is getting softer and warmer, gooey. If you've got an easy swing, you can focus on the back swing. That'll stretch out psoas, which digs into low belly. You can palpate. There's right inside your hip bone in the low belly. If you want to like massage in there, you might feel that muscle tighten and let go, tighten and let go, tighten when you reach back. All right. Step off the blocks and turn around before you have time to feel your uneven legs. All right, if possible, line up the alignment, especially now that you're nice swung out psoas. Left hip back over your left heel. Invite the low back ribs back. Bring your head back too. And let right leg start to go. And feel free to close your eyes and simply feel and breathe. If your right hip drops, that's fine. You're doing it right, but feel for it being fairly steady as the leg starts to unravel from the hip joint. Just be curious about what you feel. Cynthia, it sounds a little bit, yesterday we did so much quad and hip flexor stretching that maybe we overstretched the connective tissue. So not focusing so much on stretch here, but unwinding, untangling the knotty stuff. Sometimes when we overstretch, things tighten up more in a protective way. So we want things to feel safe so they can let go. All right, when you're nice and swung out, come off your blocks. We'll come into your choice, either horse stance or you can stay in Tadasana for a round of shoulder shrugs. So Tadasana is your mountain pose. Horse stance, step your feet 3 feet apart, turn the toes out about 45 degrees, and sit down on your horse. Also known as goddess pose, same shape, whichever image feels powerful to you, embody that. Relax your arms, shoulders completely. Take a big breath into your upper back. Hold this first breath in, hike your shoulders up to your ears, squeeze the tops of the shoulders back towards each other, and exhale, massage shoulder blades together and down the back. Again, inhale, broaden the back of the heart. Exhale, draw the middle angles of the shoulder blades straight in towards each other so you can keep the arms relaxed and use your back muscles to squeeze shoulders into spine. Then relax that completely. Flush the upper back with your breath. Exhale, bottom angles of shoulders come in. This one the arms do help with or can help with. You bend your elbows, hands out, so you can draw elbows towards each other, down toward your tail. Pinching bottom tips of shoulders down to tail. Again, relax the arms. Huge breath. Hold it. Shoulders to ears, tops of shoulders back towards each other. Exhale, massage shoulders into the upper back. Keep the shoulders down, relax your arms, breathe the shoulder blades apart from each other. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades together. One more. Inhale, fill upper back, fill the whole back of the rib cage, balloon it out. Exhale, bottom tips of wings come in, elbows can come in without popping your front ribs out. Maybe you press the elbows forward, hands back. And relax your arms. Turn your feet to parallel. Hands to your waist. Inhale, squeeze shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, half lift. Breathe the back ribs out. Exhale, fold. Any variation will hold here for a few breaths. Simply hang with gravity. If it feels right to you to let your spine sway a little bit or bend a knee at a time to get breath into the hamstrings, you do that. Whatever arm shape you're in, maybe feel for keeping the shoulders actively away from your ears. Not as tight as your shoulder shrugs, but learning to use those muscles without tension. And if your calves feel, backs of legs feel long from your calf lengthening, you might be able to rock your weight towards your toes and lift your sit bones higher if hamstrings are healthy, not strained in the shape. All right, inhale to a flat back. Bring your hands to your waist. Bend your knees as much as you need to stand up. Inhale. Samastitihi, come step to the front of the mat. Sun salute A. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, shoulders back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step or jump feet to hands. Heart forward, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale to your heart. A couple times with flow. If you prefer half suns, do that. Inhale, or cats and cows, move the spine very similarly. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, or down dog. You can skip the push-up. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, forward fold. Downward dog, excuse me. Inhale, step or jump forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Option to reach back with arms. Exhale, fold. Come back down to the earth. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, or down dog, or tabletop. Do a cat-cow. Inhale, heart forward. And exhale, downward dog. 2 more. Inhale, come forward, feet to hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms up or maybe slightly back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga or down dog. This is pretty redundant, so you can change it up when you want to. Inhale. Exhale, downward. Inhale, step or jump forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Last time, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga, etc. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog to hold, or you can rest in a child's pose. Actually, I recommend puppy if you're going to rest. Set your knees down, just like you're going to child's pose, but leave your tail up. We'll be doing some spinal extension, so I don't want you to flex it too much. Find your way into warrior 2, right foot forward. Warrior 2, hands interlaced behind your back. If interlacing the hands hurts any of your joints, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, you can find your yoga strap. You can use a towel, a shirt, any kind of fabric that you can hold between your hands and pull on that instead. That will dig the shoulder blades in without having to fight your wrist flexion. If you are interlaced, I do recommend getting the palms together so that when you do straighten the arms, the wrists are straight. They're not stuck in this double cell phone straight. Half bound extended warrior. Release your bind. Left arm stays behind your back, right forearm to thigh. Leaning sideways over your right leg. Inhale, lengthen your spine up out of your right armpit and out over right knee. Exhale, ease the left ribs back. Gaze any direction where your neck is comfortable, including letting the neck release in the shape. Bring left hand to your heart. Take a huge breath up into your heart. Feel it rise into your hand. Optional exhale. Left arm reaches forward past your face and extends. If things are feeling really heavy in right shoulder, right hip, use your breath, use your abdominals to lift out of shoulder, draw shoulder blade down, and press into left foot. Runner's lunge, hands down to either side of front foot. Here's another one, Cynthia. If straightening the left leg feels like a strain in the hip tissues, soften the knee. Allow your hip to soften and receive your inhale breath. Half splits, lower your back knee down. Shift your hips back for your hamstring stretch. I'll recommend flex foot, but you can experiment and notice whether you flex the foot, point the foot, or relax the foot. It will feel different in your hamstrings, hip, and low back. So you can settle on a shape that feels beneficial to you in the moment. Inhale, bend the right knee. And find your way to a neutral place. You can either find your way back to down dog through any kind of vinyasa. You can take some cat's cows, or you can breathe and find your way up to standing. As we'll start the second side in warrior two, left foot forward. You may want to stand up to come into the shape. So your transitions never have to be fancy, but I prefer that they do not interrupt your breathing. Hands interlaced behind your back if that feels right to you, with the other thumb on top. So shifting all your fingers down into their awkward position possibly. Or again, find some material to bind. Nice active feet, Cynthia. Extended warrior variation. Right arm stays behind your back, left forearm to thigh. And feel for lengthening your spine out. Extending the spine, that is the extended part of the warrior. But you can release the neck off the spine if that feels right to you. Bring right hand to your heart. Inflate your heart with breath. You can leave your hand there if you like, or reach it past your face into a full extension. Feel for a little more softness in your right wrist, Cynthia. Yeah, and now extend through the fingers so you can get the energy to flow right up to the tingle in the fingertips. Nice. Whether your fingers are together or apart is whatever brings the energy up. Runner's lunge. Hands come down to frame the front foot, come onto back toes. So that straightening right leg is essentially the back swing in your swinging psoas. See if you can feel the same softness that you did while your leg was swinging. It's not a soft shape, but feel it internally. Set your back knee down, shift your hips back for hamstring stretch. Different side might ask for a different foot position. Run breath into wherever you're feeling the pose the most and let that connection to your physical body guide you. Inhale, bend left knee. And then find your neutral place, your cats, cows, your down dogs, etc. Warrior two, right foot forward. Archer variations. Right arm to sky, bend the right elbow. Options, half archer, left hand holds right elbow. Full archer, left arm comes behind your back. Feeling for the right fingertips, but if you don't find fingers, hold on to something, whether you're using a strap or you pull on your own shirt so you can feel for lengthening the points of the elbows away from each other. Move the tension into the fabric, out of the shoulder joint itself. You could also do half archer with just the bottom arm instead of the top arm. Interlock variations. Let's do Bikram's triangle first. Extended warrior, right hand releases and then reaches down for your right ankle, or you can put your hand on the ground by your right ankle and then lean back on your right thigh, press your hips forward. Left arm reaches straight up to the sky for a moment to open your chest. And you can leave it there, or you can return left arm behind your back with the option to reach right arm underneath your right thigh to bind. My intent with this pose is the spinal shape. So the arms are accessories. They help that as long as they're not hurting it. Lizard lunge, hands down to the inside of right foot. Spin onto the back toes. You can stay on hands, or you can lower your elbows or just your left elbow to the ground or onto a block. Find your way onto your knees. Standing on your knees. Hands on your hips, camel prep. You can use your palms, or if your wrists are a little tweaky, you can use your fists and keep your wrists straight. I often do that for this variation. Press your tail down. Inhale, telescope your rib cage up. Traction the lowest ribs up off your pelvis. Keep expanding the middle ribs off the low ribs. Lift your chest up. Exhale, roll shoulders back. Tweeze elbows back. For the practice, I recommend just keeping the chin tucked and watching your breath elevate the heart to chin or straight up to the ceiling. You can let the head go back if that's right for your neck today. Now keep grounding the tail down, push down with your hands. Inhale your heart forward. If it went backwards, head follows if it was backwards. Downward dog or take a cat-cow. Warrior 2, left foot forward. Archer variations. Left elbow up. That left elbow reaching up is like an extension of your spine. Your tail drops down. Nice, you guys. Bikram's triangle. Release your arms. Left hand reaches down for ankle or for the earth or block. Right arm starts reaching for the sky. So you can feel for opening the chest as well as the back of the heart. So even if your right arm's stretching back into a chest stretch, keep breathing space between shoulders. Option to wrap right arm behind your back for a half bind or a full bind. Lizard variation, hands down to the inside of front leg. Spin onto back toes. And I forgot to offer on the first side, if having the back leg straight pulls way too much in the hip crease, then you lower the back knee down. And come back to your hands if you lower down. Find your way back onto your knees. One more round of camel. So if you're done with the camels, go into child's pose. Option this round. If you're reaching back for heels, you might want to tuck your toes, bring the heels up a bit. Option is start by pressing tail down, lifting heart up, and then switching to interlaced hands as you keep breathing the heart up. Maybe let the head go back if you're going for full bind. Reaching for the heels can be very scary. That is part of the pose, that accelerating heartbeat. So just notice that comes up, whether you're going anywhere with the pose or not, and feel it. And bring your hands back to the back of your hips. Massage your buttocks down. Breathe your heart up. And sit back on your heels, either sitting up in neutral for a few breaths, or you can right away go into tabletop if that feels like a sweeter release. And before you go to fix what you feel, just feel it. Breathe into it. And then follow that feeling into any movements that continue to circulate the energy, whether it's wagging your tail or cat's cows or stretching out in a child's pose. So especially as we keep our practice going as we're getting older, we go slowly through the transitions. We feel because our connective tissue is a little drier. It does not want to move fast. But those alarming cracklings and that stiffness that we might feel from our yoga practice is us getting moisture into the tissues. So we do want to feel it. We just don't want to hurry anything. All right, find your way onto your back. Wide kneed child's pose on the back. Draw your knees out towards your shoulders. The big toes stay in towards each other. If possible, to hook your elbows, you can hook them over your knees or behind your knees. I like that just so the arms can relax, but using your hands is fine. Now just feel for untucking tail towards the earth, the bottom of your sacrum getting heavier, the low back getting softer. Run your breath to wherever you're feeling release or areas that you want to feel release. Figure 4, hook your right ankle over your left knee. And drop your knees over to the right side. So you end up in a twist with your right ankle hooked. If the hook doesn't feel beneficial to you, then unhook it. Option to extend arms overhead and hold onto your left wrist with your right hand so you can relax the left shoulder completely. The chin might tuck down into the left collarbone. Again, feel for those areas that feel like cold, hard taffy and run your breath through them to start to warm the taffy. Taffy is often used to describe the kind of physical behavior of connective tissue, how it responds to stretch and to warmth. And also the idea, once you stretch taffy, you can't put it back in its original shape. So we want to go real slow. Just warm it up. Make it gooey and malleable. Other side. Come back to center. Unhook first if needed. Roll into a fetal curve if that's what your back wants. Then ease onto your back and hook left ankle over right knee. Take a moment to untuck your tail. Breathe down into low back and left hip. And you have time. You can stay here and continue to breathe and stretch. Or move right into your twist, knees to the left. Hooked or unhooked. If you're hooked, maybe it feels good to hold the right wrist overhead. The time is now 1:31. I apologize if you're going to next class, Cynthia, or Vicky, if you had to go anywhere. If you have time to stay with me for relaxation, we'll head into Shavasana for a couple minutes. And if you're heading into your let go relaxation pose, feel free to use any of the pillows, blankets around you to support your own bones. So the muscles, tissues around them can let go. They feel safe and held. Take a deep breath. Move your fingers and your toes. Move slow as you bend a knee at a time. Either drawing knees to chest or simply easing off to your side. And mindfully feel your way up to your seat. May the fruits of our practice benefit not only us. May our practice heal all beings everywhere. Namaste.